Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new edition of This Week in Karting. It's episode number 38, September the 14th, 2021. My name's Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. If you are new to our This Week in Karting podcast, really we take all the major news that's hit the EKN homepage over the last week or so, package it all into a podcast, perfect for listening on the way to work or coming home, ideal for that morning or afternoon commute, or a lot of people have told us they listen to the podcast while they're working on the cart in the shop or maybe heading to the racetrack in the morning. Before we jump into a lot of the information that has landed on the news desk for eKarting News over the past couple of weeks, let's introduce the presenting sponsor of this edition, Acceleration Kart Racing. Acceleration Kart Racing has everything you need to go racing, from tires to helmets. They have a great website for you to order from and kart racers ready to pick up the phone and answer your questions 6 days a week. With over 20 years of kart racing under their belts, Acceleration Kart Racing has the experience to help you succeed on the track. You can rely on them to get the parts you need when you need them. Make Acceleration Kart Racing your go-to source for everything karting. Head to www.shopakr.com. All right, David, a little tighter than a full month from the last show, which is good, about 3 weeks. August 24th was our last show. But still, lots happening right now. Even though we're kind of closing to the tail end, the stretch run of the season, a lot of big races still coming. And not surprisingly, now we're starting to get a lot of information for 2022.
Time to start shaping out the 2022 season for sure, with all the different schedules that have been coming in and will be coming in as we move closer and closer towards that dreaded month of December when it gets really, really cold up here.
That's true, right? Yeah, it's going to start coming. I'll say this. Big stretch of races all the way through the middle of the summer, July, August. The minute I got back here, I was out going for a walk and literally did that little morning walk, little crispness, right? You just knew the fall was here. Now that we're in the middle of September, and of course, fall race is coming up, but you could just feel the summer was kind of going away. And
that late summer. Yep. It's not quite fall yet. The leaves haven't fell. It's not yet time for that pumpkin spice stuff that everybody craves for once October hits. You got to wait till October 1st, I think, for that. But
so the first segment here, folks, on This Week in Karting, dealing with a couple of announcements for 2022, some confirmations, some schedules, some events. The last show that we had in late August, a bunch of those as well. Superkarts USA, USPKS laying out their schedules for next year. David, one of the big ones to land, the WKA, the World Karting Association, confirming their dates and locations for the 2022 Manufacturers Cup.
Certainly the one that everybody was keeping an eye open for is Daytona Kart Week. Everything that starts the new year, ends the current calendar year, but begins the new season. Every year between that Christmas and New Year's time frame, December 27th through the 30th, 2021, everybody will be at Daytona International Speedway for Daytona Kart Week. So that will again open up the 2022 season for WKA Manufacturers Cup Series. And
one of the cool things about the WKA, you talk about the fact that they're able to go to Daytona, right? Obviously, one of the the world center of speed, I believe, is the terminology they use for it. It's one of the iconic racetracks in North America and in the world, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, it's a crown jewel in karting for sure.
But where I'm going with this is you go from there to Charlotte Motor Speedway, another big iconic track as well. And they've been able to start building on that Charlotte Motor Speedway event. They'll be back there in March again.
Yeah, March. I believe last year was April was when we were there. They had both Manufacturers Cup Series and road racing going on at the same time. So I'm wondering if that means this will be a double event as well, or triple event, because again, you had the dirt stuff going on over at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So so a little bit of shift into March. That's different because last year was April. And looking at the calendar, it's the only one that I see that's a bit of a conflict, at least a conflict for us at EKN. We'll be at the Challenge in Americas finale, likely in Sonoma. We're still waiting on confirmation of when those locations will be announced. But all in all, I think the WK schedule, and we'll wrap up with the final two, is pretty laid out pretty well.
It is good separation and kind of front ending on the season as well. We know there's lots of big races at the end of the year. December 27 to 23rd of 2021, as David said, Daytona Kart Week. March 25 to 27, Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course, on the newly repaved track within the facility at Charlotte. Dave, middle of May, May 13th, 14th, 15th, Newcastle Motorsports Park. This year, of course, the WK Grand Nationals for the Manufacturers Cup here in September. Is it September?
This weekend. This weekend.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, this weekend coming up. So big move into the middle of May for Newcastle Motorsports Park, and then a new facility, at least new for the Manufacturers Cup. They'll wrap things up in the middle of August, August 12th, 13th, 14th at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati.
And ironically, Ohio is the birthplace of WK, World Karting Association. Yep. I cannot remember the last time that the Manufacturers Cup Series was actually in the state of Ohio.
Wow, there you go.
I've been looking back and forth. I know Gold Cup was at G&J for a number of years up until the Gold Cup finally dispersed. But Manufacturers Cup Series, man, I want to say it's G&J would probably be the last place it probably was at, but it has to be early 2000s. And I don't have all the records in front of me to be able to go that far back to be able to look. So something new for the series. Obviously, Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati is developing itself as being like the crown jewel of Ohio, working its adding to the paddock size, adding to the racetrack. So it's going to be a good finale, and maybe we'll see that as the Grand Nationals for 2022.
Yeah, shout out to the Bailiff family, of course, taking sole ownership of the facility along with an investor, which is great. It was a country club; it's opened up. They've got their own Pro-Am series there as well. Stars was there this past year. Cool to see a bunch of different series heading to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. And anytime we can have a facility kind of open up to the public, especially near Cincinnati as well, right? We're talking about a major metropolitan center, so love to see that and love to see them have the finale. David, give us the lineup, because the WKA has really kind of been evolving categories, trying to figure out, they've been trying to add some classes here and there, trying to get some traction in terms of support. It looks to me like it's going to be Briggs and Miami, essentially the lineup for 2022.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to work out a program to welcome all different types of engine platforms, and it just didn't seem to work out in terms of numbers, not necessarily support, but more in terms of just numbers and entries in those categories. So I think they're going to revert back to having that Miami side of things. They're going to include micro and mini Swift, and then stick with KA100 Junior, KA100 Senior, and then add a KA100 Master. So I think that's going to be a good addition. That's a category that seems to be starting to grow up at the club levels. We see it on the West Coast, here in the Midwest, and I think a little bit more so on the East Coast as well. So opportunity for that category to grow. And then the Briggs divisions, 206, you have Kid Kart, Cadet, Junior, and then instead of having one senior category, they're going to have two, with a 360-pound category and a 375-pound category.
That. Yeah, so that's interesting.
And then again,
go.
I would say, and returning again the Ignite programs, Junior, Senior, and Masters. That was a great addition for the 2021 program, where Margay Racing and all the Ignite racers made the WK Manufacturer Cup Series kind of their majors on the season. And so you got to include Daytona. That's a place where everybody wants to go. And then they go to Charlotte, and then they'll add Newcastle. And again, this weekend will be the first time that they've ever run Ignites at Newcastle. So that'll be a new experience for Ignite racers. And then again, Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, they are an Ignite track. So that's a great category that's growing at the club level there. So that should see also some strong numbers there as well too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great point, David. The fact that that's actually even a home for one of the Ignite Challenge series. So that's going to be a great way to wrap things up. And I guess also to point out, I know you threw it in there, but this really is the only national series in the U.S. to run the kid karts as well. I know that obviously USPKS doesn't. The SCUSA Pro Tour does not. So a good opportunity for any kid kart racers looking for that kind of marquee series to run. They get to run Daytona, Charlotte, Newcastle, and Cincinnati. Kind of a cool deal for the youngest drivers in our sport coming in.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know you and I both.
Yeah, but
Hey, but
it is an opportunity, and if they have the support, then you do it.
that's it.
I think it's been close to about 10 drivers each round, uh, both at Daytona and then at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So yeah, if you have the support and you have the time in the schedule to be able to do it, I think it works. And like you said, it gives them the opportunity to race at these big locations.
Yeah. And again, like I said, David, you and I have talked about it before. We're not huge fans of having kid karters travel all over the country, but for the East Coast drivers, this is an opportunity to have at least some marquee races, right? You don't need to do the whole thing, but it does give them a chance. And it's not like the Manufacturers Cup is at the level of the USPKS or the SCUSA Pro Tour or whatever it may be, right? This is more of a centralized kind of a regional national program on the East Coast.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Yeah, Route 66, Texas Sprint Racing Series, a lot of other programs that are within a couple states of each other.
Yeah.
They do promote the kid kart categories, and and that's it. We're looking now. Some of our top mini drivers and our top junior drivers started kid karting at WK. So
That's it.
it did begin a birth for some of those drivers to excel earlier than without the kid kart program.
Another confirmation for 2022 in terms of events, the Quincy Grand Prix back on that June 11-12 date, the Saturday, Sunday. The event, of course, legendary event in South Park in Quincy, Illinois. They moved the event to not conflict with the Star Championship race last year, moved it to the first week of June, which was normally in the earlier days was one of its base dates. But Terry Trader, speaking with him, the promoter of the Quincy Grand Prix, wanting to go back to that second weekend in June 11th and 12th. We're going to get more details coming at a later date, but that race confirmed, David, the Quincy Grand Prix back again. Big numbers here in 2021, and I got to think it's starting to get some more momentum again. The legend that is Quincy is most certainly back.
There's no doubt about it that the local contingent loves the race, loves the event, loves that whole weekend and being part of it, being able to watch karters go crazy in the park, South Park there in Quincy, Illinois. The only downside to the date is same weekend as the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Spring Nationals in Utah. So that is the only negative to it. So it does not allow for us to make a Quincy Grand Prix once again. But again, this is more rooted for those grassroots racers. That's what we saw. We saw a number of Briggs racers there. Shifter kart drivers that aren't at that national level love going there because it is like the Isle of Man type atmosphere with the walls so close there and the river and everything. So the trees, everything that could get in your way. So yeah, it has that feel. So again, I think it's going to continue to grow. You know, it was missed off the calendar last year and came back with a big boom in 2021. So I expect growth to continue in 2022.
That's going to be a big weekend for karting next year. As you said, there's obviously going to be 200 racers plus whatever it may be out in Utah for the second round, the Spring Nationals of the SCUSA Pro Tour. Another 200 plus racing at Quincy Grand Prix. Different groups, like you said, David, a more grassroots regional feel. You know, that foundation of the sport enjoying themselves in Quincy. Of course, the guys with the big budgets and the dreams of potentially being pros running in the national program with SCUSA over in Utah. So awesome weekend for sure. Put one of those races down on your calendar, whether figure out wherever you slot in. Again, David and I will be at the SCUSA Pro Tour for another year, and I'm going to hope. I was hoping to be able to go to Quincy this year, David, or next year rather, but again, not going to happen.
No, not going to happen. But it'll be there again, and
sooner or later.
Sooner or later, we'll be there. And some cool news coming from, as you said, Terry Trader, that they're really going to promote the finale for the Ignite Challenge series that runs through Margay. The finale is going to be October 23rd to the 24th at TNT Kartways, which is owned by the Trader family. So they're tabbing that as the first ever Ignite Grand National. So a lot of different special prizes, special trophies going to be awarded throughout the weekend as the Ignite Challenge program wraps up in Quincy.
Yeah, it's October 23rd, 24th at TNT Kartways, the inaugural Ignite Grand Nationals, the final round of that Ignite Challenge series. So put that one on your schedule as well. That's just about 6 weeks away from now. If you're an Ignite racer, head out to TNT Kartways. Time for our first break in the action. When we get back, we're going to talk USPKS, and we're also going to talk about some really, really cool news if you're a kart racer in Southern California. And to be honest, if you're a kart racer anywhere in North America. Stay with us. More to come on this edition of This Week in Karting. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Arjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer to winning in karting. At the helm is industry veteran Greg Bell, who has orchestrated the success of many drivers dating back to the mid-1990s. Based in Lodi, California, Leading Edge Motorsports is the Western importer with IP Karting that includes the Praga and Formula K chassis brands. Leading Edge Motorsports provides in-depth driver development for those racers in Northern California and across the country. Arrive and drive services, kart preparation, and driver coaching are available under the LEM tent throughout the season. Bell's record of working with drivers includes recent victories at North America's biggest karting events, including the Rock the Rio and the SCUSA Super Nationals. Greg Bell's knowledge for building engines spans 2 decades and is now under the Mega Power branding, providing a reliable engine service and tuning knowledge. No matter the chassis brand, choose Mega Power to get to the front. Click over to leadingedgemotorsports.com for more and find them on social media to stay connected. At Leading Edge Motorsports, winning never gets old.
History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside of Indianapolis, and they have provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers throughout their near 6 decades of business. Comet's online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. Comet Kart Sales attends dozens of karting events every year, offering trackside service for racers and families. Karting veterans Mark Dismore Jr. and Gary Lawson provide one-on-one driver coaching and tuning assistance for each trackside customer. The engine building business, Comet Racing Engines, has won countless major events and championships over decades of karting, and they continue to offer the best trackside service in the industry. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be a part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome back to a new edition of This Week in Karting, brought to you by Acceleration Kart Racing. My name is Rob Howden, alongside David Cole. And David, one of the events that our series that you've been traveling to for the last number of years to provide EK and trackside live coverage, the United States Pro Kart Series, updating their standings of the Geo Cup Team Championship.
Yeah, the Geo Cup is something they established to help promote the teams that do compete within the series, and to kind of put another type of competition against one another, including the drivers under each tent. And so it's a really cool program. And again, recognizing George Siraki, who has been a long time supporter of the sport, and obviously with the United States Pro Kart Series. So it's great to see him be able to hand out the award each year at the series end banquet Sunday night after the last race laps have been held.
How's it go? How's it work anyways? The point wise
format for the program, basically you designate which team you're under, and with the top 3 drivers in each category, each class, get points towards their team. So first place, you give 3 points, second place, 2 points, and third place, 1 point. So if you finish on the podium on the weekend, both either on Saturday or Sunday, you're giving your team some points. So Nitro Karts got the most out of anybody over the first 3 weekends with 46 points. You're talking Connor Zillage, you're talking Keelan Harvick, a number of different drivers that have stood on the podium. Hayden Jones, another driver that have stood on the podium throughout the season thus far at the USBKS program. So Nitro Kart holding the number 1 spot with 46 points. Sitting second is Rolliston Performance Group at 44.
Ooh, tight.
So again, you're talking Ryan Norbergs, you're talking Chase Hand, you're talking Augustus Toniolo, a lot of different drivers under that tent, even the Masters drivers like a Danny Robertson.
Yeah.
A lot of different, again, anybody who's ended up on the podium putting points towards their team. So only 2 points separating those 2 teams going into the series finale. Speed Concept Racing sitting there third with 18. Franklin Motorsports fourth with 17, and then Ryan Perry Motorsport with 16 in 5th spot.
Dave, is it points for each race or overall on the weekend?
No, each race. So each
Saturday
each
and
time
Sunday.
There's a podium, you're gaining points towards the Geo Cup.
Nice. All right, so Nitro Kart leading that going into the finale, right? That's about a month away at GoPro.
GoPro Motorplex, Mooresville, North Carolina, October 15th through the 17th. We will be there for rounds 7 and 8 to provide live coverage all weekend long and to decide the team winner in the Geo Cup Team Championship standings, along with the 7 different IME champions in their categories.
All right, so let's move to this particular piece of news, because when it kind of hit, it landed on social media first, and people were sharing it left and right. You know, you and I've heard about this for many years, but it's never kind of locked down, right? It came up, we're like, is this real? Is this actually even happening? And what I'm talking about is photos of the new track being built in Winchester, California, just about 80 miles from Los Angeles. K1 circuit. Those of you have obviously have seen the K1 indoor tracks around the country, a number of K1 indoor facilities all over North America. They break ground, David, in Southern California, a brand new CIK FIA racetrack in Southern California. People have been dying for it ever since the loss of Moran Raceway back a few years back. And those of you who have been in the sport for 3 or 4 or 5 years, you don't know about Moran Raceway. It was a much-loved facility in Beaumont, California. This track, David, 1.1 miles, designed by the guy who actually designed Moran, Rocky Moran Jr. Huge news for karting in Southern California. And as I said, really all of North America to have another great facility, especially down in Southern California, which is dying for a big racetrack.
Dying. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as much as we love the people at Cal Speed and racing right there in the heart of Los Angeles, this circuit is going to bring probably a lot more to the sport itself. You know, you're talking a 900-foot straightaway, 28 feet wide, CIK FIA curbing, and 6% elevation change. Not to mention all the amenities they're going to add into the facility with a 14,000 square foot main building that's going to include pro shop, some private spaces, a paddock lounge with a deck, along with premium garages that are probably going to sell out within 2 minutes of them opening that up right away.
Well, there's so many good things. Obviously, Cal Speed's been kind of that racetrack since Moran is gone. So many programs there. The Los Angeles Karting Championship, the Tri-C Karters, Challenge of the Americas. You've seen SCUSA Pro Kart Challenge, SCUSA Pro Tour. It's this one track that everybody has to race at because it's really the only facility that can hold some of these major races we have right now. You know, Moran being gone, Willow Springs a little bit farther north, the track a bit smaller. To have this massive racetrack right now is going to open things up for everybody to kind of take away the pressure. And I hate to use the word, but almost monotony, right? It's just you're constantly going back to Cal Speed because it's the only track and people are looking for something different. And to be able to have that change, David, I think it's just going to be a breath of fresh air for everybody karting in Southern California. And you think about this, the fact that K1 can market the crap out of this thing. They've got their indoor tracks everywhere. They're going to, they're going to have an electric outdoor rental program. I think they mentioned that as well. So we're going to have a podcast coming up soon with Rocky Moran Jr., and we'll talk to the guys at K1 to get full insight on what they're doing. But David, think about how many just indoor racers or just casual people that come out to race. They're going to get a chance to come out and see this track, race the outdoor, the rental carts, and then have an opportunity to potentially go racing again, get into the sport.
Yeah. I think you said it right. I think more is good in this term because LA is so massive, so huge with in terms of space and the amount of people that live in the area that another racetrack is going to only help the sport. And as you said, provide an opportunity for some of these traveling series for another place to go, because there's no reason that Tri-C or a lot of the other programs that are based at Cal Speed can't go back and forth between between each and every month and have that opportunity, as you said, to break up the monotony of going to the same place over and over and over again. But yeah, and I'm really interested when we are able to lock down an interview with them and to get more insight, because there's still a lot of questions about the facility that we have regarding in terms of paddock space and other different amenities that they're going to include, and exactly, kind of the timeline of the facility itself.
Yeah, they're saying it's going to open in 2022, which is about 4 months away. So,
and there's 12 months out of the year. So what month is it?
I know, that's very true. So a lot of questions, but the bottom line is this: a track is being built in Southern California, 80 miles from LA, and
80 miles from San Diego.
From San Diego as well. Where the heck is this track? Interesting.
Yeah, well, it's really close to where Moran was actually built.
Oh, okay.
If you do,
I need to hop on Google or iMaps, maps. Have a look at a map.
Yeah, you're not good at that, are you?
Trust me, I'm good at it. It's the only way I'm able to get around anywhere I go.
So,
like so many of us relying on that on the phone.
So it's north of Temecula. To be
okay.
If you look at it on a map, so it's north of Temecula, south of Moreno Valley. So south of Beaumont, right? Beaumont, where Moran was built. Was it there?
It. That's where it was. Moran was in Beaumont, right off of 10.
Right off of 10 there, yeah. We used to stay in Moreno Valley. That's true. Yeah.
You know what? The bottom line is, it's a new racetrack. We need one. And I think it's going to inject a lot of excitement into karting in Southern California. So K1 circuit breaking ground in that new facility. And again, I've already been in touch with Rocky Moran Jr. a little bit. So we are going to be looking to find out when I'm on the road. I'm back on the road again on Thursday, heading to Laguna Seca, back for about a week before wrapping things up for the road to Indy at Mid-Ohio. 3 weeks off away from travel in October. So we are going to be banging out a lot of podcasts, a lot of content. And this is going to be first and foremost, David, us getting with the good folks from K1 Circuit and, of course, Rocky Moran, the designer as well.
Yeah, again, just a lot more questions we have for them. Yeah. Looking forward to talking to them.
All right, folks, another break in the action. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about 2022. We'll fill you in on what's going on with the Stars Championship and update you a little bit on a little bit of an adjustment, not really an adjustment, but a move by the good folks at Briggs & Stratton Racing. Stay with us. More to come on this edition of This Week in Karting. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the U.S., OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Esprit chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Ruck Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. Hey West Coast karters, we've hit the halfway point in the season and it's time to get down to business with the stretch run. If you're a karter in NorCal, don't miss the last two races of the KPX Karting Championship. We hit a bit of a bump with our schedule on our venues, so we're thrilled to be finishing off our 2021 season with a pair of races with the Durbin family at the awesome Prairie City Kart Track in Rancho Cordova, California. The KPX program gets back on track on September 25th and 26th at Prairie City, and then we're back with our season finale there on October 9th and 10th, which is right before the IKF Sprint Grand Nationals. This will be the ideal opportunity to test before taking your run at the iconic Duffy Trophy. The KPX Karting Championship is the regional program for Briggs 206 and IAME KA100 competition in California. We welcome all karters to come to challenge themselves against the best in the state while having an awesome experience along the way. For more information, visit www.kpxkarting.com, and we hope to see everyone at Prairie City. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden and David Cole, and a new edition of This Week in Karting, giving you a podcast format of everything coming to the EKN news desk over the last couple of weeks. David talked at the start of the show about 2022 dates for the Quincy Grand Prix and for the WK Manufacturers Cup. Well, the Stars Championship, which continues to gain following and footing and a foundation, they've confirmed their 2022 dates as well. We're going Newcastle. We're going GoPro. That's the only two that are locked, but they do have 4 weekends locked down for the calendar.
They do. Everything's going to open up. Newcastle, as you said, Newcastle Motorsports Park in May 20, the weekend of 2021-22. So they'll open things up in Newcastle, very similar to what they did this year. And then they're going to head over to the GoPro Motorplex in June for June 24th, 25th weekend. Going to do a little night racing. So that's going to be a new twist to the series and to karting at GoPro. Not a lot of night racing. We did see that at the IAME USA Grand National Championship this couple months ago. End of July it was actually. And so that should be some fun racing for the program. August 26th through the 28th, that's going to be the third stop of the series, and that location is to be announced along with the series finale scheduled for October 7th, 8th, and 9th. So Pittsburgh International Race Complex, that's been on the schedule for the program. So you got to think that might return, but what's going to be the fourth? The Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati has been on the schedule as well. There's talk of possibly a new facility in Ohio. We're still waiting on confirmation for that as well. So could that be on the schedule as well? Not quite sure.
Well, it's one of the places, and there's not a lot of them, one of the traveling series where you can actually run a gearbox kart, a shifter kart as well. And it's one of the programs on the Stars Championship, David, that's starting to gain a little bit more following. It's a place for the guys to go bang gears, right?
It is. There really isn't anywhere in the Midwest for sprint racing in terms of shifter kart racing. A lot of them have been going road racing, and this is really the only opportunity for them to do sprint track stuff.
Yep. News coming in from Briggs & Stratton as well. We'll jump into the fact that they've added a new flywheel to their engine lineup. But David, before you kind of give us a little update on that, cool thing is, I think everybody's been talking about the fact that it's been tough to get engines from Briggs & Stratton. A lot of supply chain issues. I don't care what form of motorsport you're in. When you're relying on stuff to come in from overseas, from China, whatever it may be, Italy, wherever, there's been a lot of backlog in terms of getting material to come into the U.S. Everybody's been kind of waiting on a backlog. Everybody had orders in from Briggs & Stratton for new 206 engines. It was cool to see a bunch of different people talk about, we talked to Gary Lawson at the SCUSA Summer Nationals about the fact that engines were starting to come in. All those engines were essentially already reserved. People had deposits down. Same thing, I think Acceleration Kart Racing had a pallet of motors as well. Those were sold pretty quickly. Nice to see the engines finally hitting the ground again and getting people the new engines that they need.
Yeah, getting the new engines, hopefully to new customers. I think that's the key aspect to it, because we don't want to see guys just buying up engines just because.
Yeah, true.
That's going to be, again, there's nothing you can do to police that, but that hopefully is what the kart shops are doing, because it's about getting new people into the sport. It's not, again, you don't need to go out and buy 20 of these and find the perfect one. These things run right out of the box, ready to go. And that's something Briggs & Stratton has been promoting since day one, back when we ran it in 2012, that these engines perform no matter what you've done to them. But yeah, as you said, supply chain's been a big issue. That was one of the things they stated in the press release regarding this new flywheel that they are producing and shipping with new engines that are going out now. It's just, again, no matter what industry you are in, there is a supply chain problem. Racing, cars, anything, you name it, toilet paper, everything. There's a supply chain problem for everything. So again, in the statement they released out, it's identical to the current PVL made flywheel in terms of design, materials, weight, magnetic specifics, along with the balance specifics of the flywheel itself. So they had 5 different independent dyno tests done by leading 4-cycle engine tuners across North America. So they've all signed off on this. So this isn't something that they just decided to do. This is something they did their homework with.
Agreed.
Talked to a lot of the people in the industry beforehand, and everybody has signed off on it. So again, it's just a little blip, nothing really, in terms of, issues. It's just, again, the supply chain. It's a way to break down that lack of supply chain right now.
Yeah. And I think a great move by everybody at Briggs & Stratton to put that together. And again, working, as you said, with leading 4-cycle engine builders and tuners around North America to get it dialed in. And I like the independent blind test. So everybody's clean, everybody's on board. So that's the news, folks. A new flywheel added to the racing engine for the Briggs 206. All right, final break in the action on this edition of This Week in Karting. When we get back, we'll update you on everything that's happened on ekartingnews.com, what we've got coming up for the next couple of weeks. And if you've missed anything on the website or our podcasts, we'll let you know where you can grab it. Stay with us. We'll wrap things up after this break. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs are available in 2021 for the USPKS and the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour and Super Nationals, with full product sales and service and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private, one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. Trinity Karting Group is also your Midwest home for Tony Kart and IAME, and we're your source for MG and Evinco tires in the region. Tony Kart quality cannot be beat, so call us today to put you in a new chassis for your next event. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. Jensen Button, Jos Verstappen, and Roman Grosjean, all former Technokart drivers and champions. Get ready, America, for the Technokart invasion. Formed in the 1970s, the Italian manufacturer has new representation in the US, and they're already winning races and championships. Technokart USA is owned and operated by top national masters drivers Laurent Mardan and Christian Vomir, and they are focused on building the new Technokart dealer network. The Technokart line hits all the different engine platforms in American karting, beginning with the TR28 Special for 4-cycle racing. The TR30 is Techno's chassis for 100cc and 125cc tag competition, and we also have a TR Cadet and Kid Kart for the drivers coming into the younger age groups of the sport. In 2021, Technokart USA will be attending the Rock Cup Florida Winter Tour, the United States Pro Kart Series and Route 66 programs, the Rock the Rio and SCUSA Super Nationals in Las Vegas, and will continue to support our home track, the Badger Kart Club. Race-winning Arrive and Drive programs are available, and kart shops interested in adding a new quality chassis to their lineup should contact us today. Be sure to follow Technokart USA LLC on Facebook and Instagram.
Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on-site at GoPro Motorplex, Kartsport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. Along with being the official race team and distributor for the Kart Republic chassis, they offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and products from the top brands in the sport such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF Bearings, and Prisma Tire Gauges. If you want to take your racing to the next level, they also offer driver training and coaching programs available trackside at GoPro Motorplex. They have a massive inventory, so head to their online store at kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components that you need. While you're there, check out their used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kartsport North America. Top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development services.
Welcome back to episode 38 of This Week in Karting. It's September the 14th, 2021. Working our way into the stretch run of the 2021 season. David, kicking out a lot of EKN editorial over the last 3 or 4 weeks since our last show, beginning with the naming of our Driver of the Month for July 2021. Carson Morgan had a tremendous month of July.
Dominated the weekend at Road America for the United States Pro Kart Series event up there in July, and then again came back and did that in August at the SCUSA Pro Tour Summer Nationals. So pretty much could have named him Driver of the Months, including July and August. But
right.
We are going to pull out the Driver of the Month of August tomorrow, and so stay tuned for that.
Cool. Also be getting our EKN driver diaries from Caleb Gaffera, the driver who is representing the United States at this year's FIA Karting Academy Trophy in Italy. I've really had a lot of fun reading those.
Yeah, and I think it's a great experience for him. Provides him an opportunity to kind of speak his mind and tell us, exactly the type of experience that he's been enjoying. This one was the second event in Italy at the Adria International Raceway. Just wrapped up the program in Sweden over the Labor Day weekend, so we'll be hopefully getting the final installment of his driver diary soon.
We've provided some race coverage as well. Race report from the Route 66 series, Sprint Series at Kart Circuit Autobahn. Of course, David, you had your coverage from the 2021 Rock Island Grand Prix on Labor Day weekend, and we also followed the report that they sent in from the FIA Karting World Championship in the KZ Super Cup KZ2 and Academy Trophy, as you said, from Sweden.
Yeah, KZ, that's another amazing category to just kind of see how things unfolded there. I won't ruin it for you. You can read the article.
Right,
along with Super Cup KZ2, a familiar name that we've seen win here, both in the United States and around the world.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, you got to read the
that's
article.
right. You want them to read about it. That's right. I like that. Yeah, I like that. All right. So there's
we can talk about it if you want, because we need...
No, there's the teaser for you.
Okay, can we just say Can we just say we need both drivers at the Super Nationals racing KZ?
I would like that. Yeah, I agree. I think we need both those
I think
guys.
one really wants to go back to kind of redeem himself. So I'll
Agreed.
give you that little bit.
So a couple of podcasts available for those of you who may not listen to them yet. As everybody knows, our content goes on the EKN Radio Network first. We take that and then turn it into a podcast a couple of days later. Podcasts available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, all the other different podcast outlets. Of course, the last edition of This Week in Karting is available. Not sure that you want to listen to the Outlap, our preview of the Rock Island Grand Prix, but if you do want to get the debrief, where we do our full podcast race report, that available as well. The 87th episode of the EKN Debrief on EKN Radio throughout this coming week. Again, upcoming shows that will be on our 24/7 radio station, the only karting radio station in the world. This edition, of course, This Week in Karting. And David, you're knocking out a bunch of the SCUSA Pro Tour race coverage, the play-by-play from the Winter Nationals, Spring Nats, and Summer Nats.
Yeah, we're going to do some rewinds. We're playing today the Winter Nationals. Tomorrow, obviously, we'll have This Week in Karting, so on the 15th. And then the remainder of the week and through the weekend, we'll add in the Spring Nationals and Summer Nationals. So a lot of your voice will be played on the EKN Radio Network this week.
So if you have not yet downloaded the EKN Radio Network app, you can do that at iTunes and Google Play. Easy way for us to get the 24/7 stream of all of our karting content. Here's what's coming up, folks, because we've got a couple of EKN Trackside. We have one EKN Trackside Live event coming up. One is going to be just an EKN Trackside because October 1st and 2nd and 3rd, and again, I'm pretty bummed that I can't get to the race this year again for another conflict, but the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals 5 taken to Newcastle Motorsports Park. It's a trackside event, David. You'll be racing yourself. We'll have the live coverage, but you're not going to be doing the full EKN Trackside Live.
Not a full Trackside Live weekend. As you said, I'll be racing, joining the LSR Motorsports and Target Distributing team with the CRG Nordam and CRG Kart, racing the Masters category. I've been dared to race a heavy category. That's something we'll get into over the next couple of days and see if that's a possibility or not. But yeah, excited to go back there. We'll have some social media posts throughout the weekend. We'll stream the live call with Dave McIntyre giving the play-by-play all weekend long. Just no commercials, none of that full coverage. But we will have photos of all the winners during Sunday's main events to continue our top 10 posting with the main event results.
I like it. A couple of weeks later after that, a full EKN Trackside Live event, the finale for the United States Pro Kart Series at GoPro Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. We talked a little bit about it earlier in the show, but October 15th to 17th, GoPro, David, always brings out the locals, which will be great. The numbers that the USPKS has been pulling in this year, staggering. And to see locals coming in, championships on the line, that's going to be a really, really exciting weekend for karting in North America.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, just wrapping up the championships, that's going to be an exciting part of the weekend. Just being at GoPro again, we've been there every year. The series has been there. The numbers are going to be what we're kind of going to be watching. Can we pull off another record number in terms of total entries? So again, we're just over a month away from that race and looking forward to it.
And as we mentioned earlier, the Geo Cup Team Championship will be up for grabs as well. Nitro Kart in a big battle with Rawls Performance Group, so to see who takes that over. But David, that wraps things up for This Week in Karting. I know lots of stuff coming in this week. We got a lot of stuff that we're working on as well. We talked about the podcast we're trying to dial in with Rocky Moran and the crew from K1 Kart Circuit. I'm also lining one up with the guys from the KPX Karting Championship out in California. They've got a couple of events here in September and October. Going to line one up as well with Donald Durbin Jr. From the Prairie City Kart Track, so we can give you some insight into the IKF Sprint Grand Nationals for 2021. Lots of great content still coming. And as always, folks, if you're not already following us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're always jamming out a lot of content there. Great way, David, for people to follow in, to let them know what's going on in the sport.
Yeah, lots of different avenues that you can tune in. And again, our YouTube, everything, podcasts, We're all over the web,
Well, folks, that wraps up another edition of This Week in Karting. We'll try to get another one for you in a couple of weeks. Lots of stuff happening in the sport as we jump into the stretch run of the 2021 season. Lots of great racing still to come, all the way through to the finale of the year, the SuperKarts USA Super Nationals, back at the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino on the first week of December. Big thank you again to Acceleration Kart Racing for being the presenting sponsor of this edition of This Week in Karting. And as always, for all the events that we get to travel to throughout the year, we'll shout out to Cooper Tires, our sponsor of our EKN Trackside Live Tour. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of This Week in Karting. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.